This is a heartbreaking case. A Georgia father who left his 22-month-old son in a hot car last week. The boy died, and now Justin Harris has been charged with murder. ABC's Steve Osunsami is covering the case from Atlanta. Good morning, Steve.
Good morning, George. The father's office is just a few blocks from here when he realized his son had been sitting in the back seat all day. He pulled into the shopping center. Witnesses say he screamed for help, but it was too late. The family here grieving this morning says what happened to 22-month-old Cooper Harris was an honest and tragic mistake. On Wednesday, the boy's father, 33-year-old Justin Ross Harris, buckled his son into a car seat in their mini SUV and then headed to his job as a web developer at a Home Depot corporate office just outside Atlanta. It was 7 hours later, as Harris was leaving for the night, when he noticed his son still in the back seat. He says he had forgotten to drop the child off at daycare that morning and says he immediately pulled into this shopping center. Witnesses say he rushed to try and save his son.
He kept saying, "What have I done? What have I done?" Laid him on the ground, started doing CPR, trying to resuscitate him. Apparently the child wasn't responding.
The young child had remained in the hot car for several hours on a 90-degree day. After searching his office, police arrested the grieving father and charged him with felony murder and child endangerment. He has pleaded not guilty.
Until we more or less run out a lot of the information that we are having to track down, right now, these charges will stand.
The father's arrest is causing outrage, some agreeing with police and shocked at what happened, but many saying the father has suffered enough. The justice system can't punish Ross worse than he is punishing himself, and it will only cause more pain for a grieving family. Harris's supporters online have raised more than $18,000 for his defense. Every year, an average of 38 children in this country die after being left in a hot car. Last year, it was 44. In Atlanta, more than 22 children have died this way since 1990. Public safety advocates say these are usually accidents and happen to the most loving and protective parents of every color and socioeconomic background. The one constant is that the parents had a change in their routine the morning of the death. We don't know if that happened in this case. Harris appears in court next month. George.
Okay, Steve, thanks. ABC's Dan Abrams joins us now. And Dan, just a horrifying story, not your typical murder case.
As the father of a boy who's almost exactly the same age, to hear this case is absolutely heartbreaking. It's not at all a typical murder case. First of all, the charge is what's called felony murder, meaning they have charged him with cruelty to a child, and because there was a death as a result of that felony, they can charge him with what is called felony murder. But I have to tell you, the way that the police are talking here, making comments about, there's more to the story here than people know. One 34-year-old vet involved in this case said this case shocks the conscience. That kind of language suggests that they think there's something else to the story.
So they may not believe it was an accident, but how do you prove that?
Well, first of all, if they can get computer records, they've done search warrants at his home and his office, etc., they could try to demonstrate it in that way. They would say that they don't necessarily have to prove that it was more than an accident, the level of recklessness and the conduct. But again, I don't think they would have charged him with this crime. I would hope they wouldn't charge him with this crime unless they thought there was something more here than an accident.
But to be clear, even if it was an accident, he still could be charged with felony murder?
In theory, yeah. I mean, the level of recklessness could be so great such that you could have a felony, an underlying felony, where there could be felony murder. But again, this goes to the discretion of the authorities here, and you've got to hope that if they in the end believe that this was a mistake, just a horrible mistake, that they wouldn't charge him with murder.
Okay, Dan Abrams, thanks very much.